welcome to the vlog. Today I'm gonna be your eyes, I'm gonna be your ears, and together we're going to visit the city of Newcastle. So we have two major things in our itinerary today. The first one is to visit Hillsong United Church, and the second one is to just find a notable place to just hang out, actually get out of the house, because we never ever do. So one of my favorite things about this trip was the views. Given that Newcastle is in the north, you have a lot of shores and you have like the beach, and then when you finally glide into like the city, it's a much bigger city than where we're coming from. So it's like you transition from like this lush looking seaside to like this really nice city with all the ancient buildings and everything. One of my favorite parts was when I stepped into Hillsong United. It just felt like home in every way. Like, guys, take me back there, because it was an amazing experience. I loved it, from the worship to the baptism to the sermon. Everything was just so beautiful. Like, just take me back to this time, please. She was great, but love was greater. Of service, our hangout of choice was the Discovery Museum. Part of why we picked this, to be honest, was that it was the closest place compared to all the other places we saw on the map. But guys, we did not regret this visit at all. First and foremost, it was absolutely free. Second of all, you get to feel like you're walking through history. During the trip, we got to see like all the sights and sounds and all the feels of what it felt like to live in like ancient Newcastle. The walls were filled with like stories of how, of the history of Newcastle. There were 3D models, there were actual things to like tell you the history. One of the things I love about this place is how they just merged everything together to tell like a beautiful story. It's created such that you wouldn't need a tour guide. Everything you need for the tour is there. Like, things were arranged like you are walking through history. So I think it starts from like the 1800s, if I'm correct. Takes you down to the 1900s, from 1910 to 1920 to 1930 to 1940 to like the 2000s, and like you feel like you lived in history and you saw things evolve. I was so happy about this visit. After having our fill, it was time to go home. Like, we couldn't sleep here, but I personally am going to visit this again, because I got to realize that was just one section that talks about history. They have parts that talk about science and some other beautiful things of that sort, and I am definitely going to go back. I highly recommend this, especially if you have kids, because they get to like learn a lot from the visit. Thank you for going on this trip with me. It was such a nice one, and I know it's really short, but don't worry, I'm sure we'll have more where we get to go into more details. But for now, this marks the end of our trip to Newcastle, and I will see you the next time we decide to take a trip